The first time that I was in the studio, I was with a very close friend of mine, my best friend, Mike Jan. And we played for it was a talent contest, and this was about 1956. And if whoever won the contest would get a recording contract here that lasted for just one session or 3 hours, I think it was. We won $50 at the talent contest, which for us was a lot of money. And we thought, my God, what are we going to do? We can come in and record at K-Bank Studios. We knew nothing about K-Bank, but we decided we needed a couple songs if we were going to record. So Mike put a pen to paper and he wrote a song called "I Couldn't Care Less Than I Do Now," and we recorded it. And it was actually was broadcast on KEVE, which was a station out here right off of Highway 100, I think it was. And Dave Dudley was a DJ along with Roy Drusky in that radio station. Today, if you brought in an acetate and wanted somebody to play it on the air, they would just escort you out the door. But we went in and we played it, and the words were, I'll never forget it because they were so profound. I couldn't care less than I do now. You broke my heart, oh, and broke each vow. I suppose our love would have died anyhow, and I couldn't care less than I do now. But I still have a copy of that. And so then I think the next time was when we came in and the Trashmen, we were doing gigs all over town, and we were out at Chubb's Ballroom. It was a place out here in, I think, Eagle Lake. Bill Deal, the Wizard of the Wax, the Deacon of the Disc, he had all kinds of other names, but we won't say anything about that. But he was a great guy, and he would throw records out at the crowd, and we had been to a place called Woodley's Country Dam the week before, and we played a 4-hour job. That's what we called them at the time. They weren't gigs or anything. It was a job, 4-hour job. And our parents liked that because a job means it sounds like it's work, So we played, and there was a group called the Sorensen Brothers, and they did a song called Papa Oo Mau Mau. We had no idea what it was, and so it kept rolling on through Steve's head, and we were playing this 3-hour record hop at Chubb's. And Bill Deal was there, and Steve was back in the room, and this was between sets. We used to do a 45-minute set, 15-minute break, 45-minute set, and everybody danced then. Everybody was dancing. Nobody was just sitting around watching. And he came up with this voice, and we were just laughing in the back room, and he says, we should just make a song out of that. So let's, in the key of E, I hit an E, I had my guitar back there, I think I broke a string, and I was putting a string on it. And that was the key, lone E chord. And so played it, and he came up with his voice, and he said, he started singing it back there. And he said, I don't know what we're going to do with it, but when I go to a bridge, whenever that's going to be, I'll just nod, and we'll go from E to B. So he did, he started the Papa Oo Mau Mau, Papa Oo Mau Mau. We didn't know what was going to happen. He went like this, so we went to B. And we ended up playing that song 3 times that night. The kids went crazy. Bill Deal said, you got to record it. So we did go in and record it. And it was in a basement of a record store on Lake Street first. And Bill Deal said, it's too long. It's 3.5 minutes. It's got to be 2 minutes, 30 seconds. So we came back here to K-Bank. We recorded it right there, right here, in this room, right in front of this window. And Steve sat on his drums, and we sat out in front of him, so we knew when he was going to go from E to B, And had no idea how long it was going to be. We just knew it's got to be about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, so he was shaking his head. And people have asked me, how many cuts did it take for that song to be recorded? Well, with that voice, you couldn't do too many. But I think it was only 2 or 3, and we got it done. And Bill Deal on WDGY, Wonderful Ouija, put it on the Battle of the Bands, and it won. And they never do that anymore either. It was not even pressed yet. And so that's how it started. And the album was recorded in 2 afternoons right here. And so you wonder, how did we come up with a lot of songs? Well, we came up with songs that, we were playing on 3-hour dances. That's what we played, were 3-hour dances. And we needed, I think, 2 or 3 songs. So I think Tube City and songs like that, we just made them up on the spot because we needed another song. So we played it last night at my house. We were jamming until 12 o'clock, and we were going back, and you played that song.
I love Tube City.
And I said, oh yeah, and he was showing me how it went, and I wrote it. So, and so then I was back in the studio here. We recorded a second album, but that wasn't released for a time, and we came in numerous times to record in the studio. I've been in here just recently with a Japanese girl band, 5678, and Travis called me and he said, the girls want to record a couple of Trashmen songs. Would you come in and do it in Japanese? And so, but musically it wasn't Japanese for sure. So I came in, it was a lot of fun, and I stood right here in front of the window, and Travis was doing this, and I put down a lead, and then another lead, a different lead, another one, and then they chose the lead that they wanted. I mean, for me, how flattering is that after 60 years that somebody would want to have you come back in the studio and record something?
I keep trying to tell Tony, man, he's a rock star.
And there's, some infamous albums right now. Jesse J and the Bandits.
That's right. I got my Jesse J and the Bandits album signed by you and Doug.
Doug Sparks and Cindy. Doug and Cindy are here. And Doug called me and said, we're going to do this album. And it's a new group, Jesse J and the Bandits. So we came in and we recorded numerous songs on that album. And people still ask me about it. I signed a couple of those today, which is really amazing. My brother Mark, I saw him come in here. He played drums after Steve passed away with the Trashmen for, I think, 24 years. And went to Europe with us many, many times, toured with us many times. Thank you, Mark. And he said he was going to bring his sticks. So when we play later on, maybe we'll get him up and play drums on a song or two. But this studio was an infamous place, and songs like 6 Days on the Road. I knew Phil Humphrey, who recorded Mule Skinner Blues, and asked him about it, about what happened here. But I didn't know that he didn't record the original here.
Well, us record collectors can get into a debate about it, but I know it came out on, what was the original label? Was it Kuka? Okay. I actually found a copy of that at the Mount Pleasant Town garage sale for $0.10, that original Kuka version. But then it was very quickly re-released on Soma, and if you play the 2 versions, it says that one was recorded in Wisconsin and one was recorded here, but they're identical, I swear. So,
yeah.
Unless they literally just did this exact same version here in this studio, I don't know.
And, over the last 10 years or so, we are a little long in the tooth now, but the Surf Dogs called me and he said, you want to play a show or two, So once in a while, Bernie Bomberg calls me and said, we got a gig if you want to do it. And if it's fun, I'll do it. But they've all been here. Dave has recorded here with Greg D and the Avantis. I mean, they were quite a group back then. I think you did a lot of TV shows. You were touring all over, and we got to see Greg before he passed away. It was wonderful to see him again. But this place is, I'd love to see it last almost forever. And yes, Tom John was the guy that was the engineer for us. There was something else I was going to say too, and of course, being 82 years old, it's hard to remember everything. that you're going to say. But as soon as I get off the mic, I'll remember it, of course. That's the way it goes. But is that what I say? That's my story, and I'm sticking to it?
That's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. Tony Andreason.